Hello everyone, welcome back to ABI-DOS. Yesterday we did nanobuffer and stream regulator. Those were fun little things. Didn't, I'm sure I would have liked to be a little bit more optimized in various dimensions, especially on nanobuffer. As I recall, I had some poor space usage, but good icon usage. What was that about? Oh yeah, this. Sure, you got me. All right. Anyway, moving on. No, wait. Last episode we did stream regulator and sort file checker. Nanobuffer was 2 episodes ago. Okay, stack compiler. This program implements a stack data structure. Retrieve a character from S1. If it's plus, push a value from 0. If it's minus, pop a value. The stack will never exceed 6 units. Great. So how do you do that? It seems to me that we would need 6 obstructors, right? But, I mean, that doesn't solve the problem. What do you do with them? Because, like, let's say you just had them lined up like this, and you had them all wired up to the same red signal coming from somewhere. Because anytime you push something, you have to move all of these, and anytime you pop something, you have to move all of them. Right? So you want them all wired up to the same signal, I think. The problem is, sometimes you need to move them in one direction, and sometimes you need to move them in the other. And so you can't just like have these guys all in a row and then like release them. Like that would be fine if you fed things in this direction. Like you said, this is the top of the stack here, let's say. Then when you push something, you just release all of them for a tick and they move to the right. And you let a new one in here. You push something, they all keep going to the right. And you let a new one in. That seems fine. But then when you pop, you know which direction they're going in, and it's to the right, and you hate that, right? It sucks. So, you can't really have them in such a way. Like, they can't... It feels to me as though, I don't know the details, but it seems like having them lined up this way is, with a straight line feeding them in, is almost impossible. So what if you... What if you stored them in here with a different orientation, a different movement direction? So that they always, when they came in, they wanted to go, like, down or something crazy, right? Let's get rid of this red wire, it's just there for example purposes. So, like, you could have... Like, I'm imagining something like... you would have 5 conveyors. You don't ever need 6 because you never have to push this guy to the right. So maybe you would have something like this. Okay. Where each of these... I said I don't need that one. Does this, and we turn them all on for just 1 tick, and then go back up. Now, of course, we don't even need conveyor belts to do this. Well, because we could just make them turn left when they get to the intersection. But I'm imagining putting even more stuff down here, and then sometimes going through these conveyors is the idea. So I guess they would be this kind of conveyor. So when it's time to push, you let them all go down. And they shift over by 1. But then they need to like continue going down, which is a little weird. Because there's no way to get them to go up from this direction, right? So... The other thing is, like, maybe what we need is a nullifier of some kind here. Where, like... we could turn these on and off. We probably could turn them on and off at just the right times without a nullifier. But either way, we need a second row of conveyors, I think, to make things go left. You know, we actually do need a nullifier now that I look at it, because if I want these bits to always be pointing down as their desired direction, then when they come back up into these guys, they're going to be, like, pointing the wrong way. So I think what I need to do is, like, they're going to go down. A bit's going to follow, like, this rough path is my idea. It comes down, oops, yeah, like that. Comes down and decides, you know, it's going to have to shift to right. And so it's going to come back up here. But now it's facing the wrong way, right? So I need a nullifier here that it can pass through. That'll nullify this collector for 1 tick. So it can come up here. Back into a conveyor that'll ensure it's always pointed down. Is my thinking. Actually, I don't even need conveyors, do I? We're not using this blue wire, remember, this is just for visualization purposes. But actually, I think we could just do this. And let them turn around naturally when they get there. So, bits would enter, oops, no, don't do that, from the top. When we get a new bit in and we decide to push, we have to release all the bits that are there, shift them right, and then send the new one in like this, right? Actually, maybe we have to do something slightly different. Because this needs a turnaround spot as well, so it can always be headed down. I don't want it to turn left and come back out this way. I just don't quite understand how to have it like the ability to shift it in either direction. Fine, I can use nullifiers to ignore this row of conveyors, but this row of conveyors doesn't make any sense anyway, right? The problem with it is what we actually need is conveyors to send it like back up. We need it to like reach a dead end and turn, and then have conveyors to send it back up. Which is fine, except I can't put a dead end here because I want it to continue further into conveyors pointing the other direction. Or into a turn pointing the other. So maybe there's something wrong with this whole idea of send them down to shift them either left or right, and then move them back up and point them down again. Because I don't see how to get them to all turn like in sequence, or in parallel with each other, in unison. Well. I mean, maybe you could do it by making this twice as wide, fitting in conveyors pointing right and also alternating with conveyors pointing up, but I don't even have that kind of space. So maybe there's some way I could arrange that, like, because if all the bits if they were oriented to the right, pushing would be a very simple operation. We would just release all of these for a tick, and they would all shift to the right. And then I just have the question of how do I pop when these guys have the wrong orientation, right? When they're oriented pointing right. And so, I mean, maybe the answer is to alternate these with nullifiers, saying, you know, not nullifiers, triggerable conveyors. So that if I just want to shift, if I want to pop, which I guess in like Perl, they used to call that shifting, right? We would have conveyors here that push them upwards or downwards to let me like offset by 1. But those will be turned off when we're pushing, and they'll just fall through those and go into the next null obstructor. And then if we want to pop, we interrupt all of them and send them to a new place. Right? There's not enough space to do that conveniently, because I would need to squeeze in 5 conveyors, and I only have 3 space if I have this orientation. But maybe we don't need them in a straight line like this. Maybe we could have them in like a 3x2 grid where there's like it seems possible. So what if I... did like this, with only 3 of them on the top row. And then... like this, with triggerable conveyors in between them, like so, wired up in this fashion. Then, to ensure that everything's pointing in the right direction, when it comes time to pop, what do? I do something like... yeah, I think this makes sense. The corner is the hardest part. Oh, this is pointing the wrong way, excuse me. Yeah. Might be easier, actually, to do it like this. No? This does not look easier in any way? Okay. So we do something like ba-ba, ba, and this one is routed to like the output. These are all oriented wrong, I think. It would make more sense to do it the other way, but there's no cost of flipping these intersections, so it's fine. This one is the weird one. But I think this is the answer. It's just a little bit awkward. I don't want any of them to have a longer period, I don't think. I think you can do this. No, this is wrong. Also, this needs to turn... yeah, okay, no, you can't do it that way. It has to look like this. But maybe... no, it needs to be able to connect this way. But I can't have a cross intersection. Something's wrong. I can't handle corners, man. Okay, so I think maybe... nope. I don't understand. Wired up like this. So it wants to go this way. But if we reach this conveyor, we instead go up here. That's fine. If we get to here, we go down this way. That's all great. This one wants to go this way, but we can interrupt it and send it up here. And it's... nope, not up there, because that changes this thing's direction. We have to go like this. Oh, it's going to be so bad for throughput to do that. But you know what? I don't care. There's got to be a better way to do that. This looks like hell, but you know, what can you do? Also, I'm not even sure how you would wire this up. Because we need different... we need to be able to talk to all of these things at once while not talking to any of these. But we also need to be able to talk to all of them at once. Maybe that's fine. Let me just wire. Let me make sure that makes sense. So I could do something like this for one mode of operation, and then use blue wire for the other mode to just like do this. Right? I think that's fine. This pointing the wrong way. Okay. And I haven't finished doing the white wires down here. This one just needs to go like that. And this one, needs to be able to pop. But that just means going here, doesn't it? Something's wrong. This guy's going the wrong place. Did I do all of these wrong? I did. Okay, the white wiring is fricked. All right, this part we want to keep, I think. Just tell me how good I could do if I were smart. Yeah, but I'm not. So when we pop, this one wants to go to the output. That's pretty clear. This one needs to get to here. Like that. We also need a way to get in, so I'll make sure that's pointed right. This one needs to get here. This one needs to get here. Okay. This one needs to get here, which is not so bad. And this one needs to get here, which is like that? Oh, what am I doing? That last set of wires didn't make any damn sense, I think. Try again. Did it? Maybe it did. Hang on. Yeah, it did. Go back. No, because we're supposed to be coming out of this thing. Not this thing. So this one, which I routed here, that's the problem. Okay, just delete all these. All of them? Yeah, I don't know what I did on the bottom. Okay, so this one's when it's released has to go here and then has to escape up to there. So that's what this was about. When this one is released, it'll be released through here and has to get to there. So we want that. Turning that way. And this one, anytime it's released, we know it will always be for a pop. We're not allowed to push more than 6 things. So we don't actually need a conveyor. It'll just always come out of this. And we can just route it to here. So it's irregular, but it's correct, I think. This is an abomination. It's abstract art. No, actually, something kind of nice is that we didn't end up needing Like, I could just put the output right here, yeah? Ta-da! I think it's all wired up correctly. Well, I mean, I'm sure there could be some issues, but I mean, I've done all the wiring I intended to do. The blues release everything, including turning on the conveyors. While turning them off, I guess. So we'll have the blue wire be push and the red wire be pop, basically? Okay. So what is the longest distance that a bit ever has to travel? That's like the throughput we can handle. Looks like from here to here, right? One from, well, here to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we could probably request a new input every 13 ticks. Which, by the way, there were some recent puzzles where I made a long wire for things to go on, but I could have just used an obstructor set to like 5 or whatever, and that would save me some space at the cost of an icon. So S1 is this thing. So let's put S0 right here. Set all these, by the way, to -1, hold forever. What we do with this is an obstructor whose delay we will determine later. Then request a new input only for yourself. Then see whether it is a green input you have received. Well, red for push. Oh, since red is push, we should have red be the one that does everything, right? The red wire. Just thematic, like aesthetically and in terms of organization, like it's nicer to have those two correspond than to have the opposite meaning. So actually, that means all of these should be off by default. So in red mode, which is push, we'll leave them off. This is a colorizer, should be a color sensor. I'm already detecting a problem, which is that these guys if blue is the one responsible for turning them all on, who's responsible for turning them off, right? So, like, I don't want the red wires going into these because, I mean, do I? Maybe it would be okay. Because when I'm pushing, I want these guys to go to state B briefly to release their bits. And so it would be nice if these also were in state B at the same time. Okay, so maybe my problem, well... Also, I think the obstructor needs to be near the end, not near the beginning. So we start by testing color, basically. If it's red, I want to send a signal B to these guys. Like, I kind of feel like I need a conveyor B so I can trigger them for just one tick. The problem is I actually want to trigger them for 2 ticks, so I'm going to need, like... When we're pushing, I want to turn these off briefly, so they should be on by default. Red and blue wiring is wrong now. I'm changing the meaning of those. Red is now going to be the one that goes through everything. And blue goes through only these guys. Actually, I mean, I guess it probably comes down here, right? Blue releases them but leaves these conveyors on. So I kind of think, weird as it is, that I want 2 ticks of triggers for this, right? Like so. So if it's red, send these both to state B for 2 ticks, basically. Inactive for 1 cycle, right? So the obstructors and conveyor Bs both have this like thing where you send them a signal and they treat it like a pulse. They just, for 1 tick, change their behavior. So it's not like I'm telling these release your current bit and then putting them into a mode where they're going to release the next bit as well. They won't have any bits to release, so they won't do anything when I send them the second pulse. Okay, fine. So I think that's how this wants to work. And then I have to figure out how to trigger the blues in the other case. If it was red... Also trigger this conveyor to take it off of the blue path, right? And what we'll do over here is handle blue, which is pretty simple, I think. We just have a universal B sensor wired up with blue wire here. That releases all of them. Annoyingly, the blue part is the popping is the slow part. So ideally, I should handle pops first and pushes second, because pushes are much faster. Not have to go through like 3 ticks worth of, but like it's only a difference of 1, I think, right? messes up my latency a bit. In some sense, the best I could do would be like this, right? And I probably should do that now that I look at it. Oh, but now it's off. It's off by 1, because I need to... I need to send that signal for 2 ticks in a row, so I guess this is fine. We're not winning any throughput awards, or, I assume, any space awards. Don't make me laugh. So, we have to do a bit more here, which is we have to request an input for 0 as well. So if it is red, go this way. If it's blue, we're popping, so we're not going to request anything. Oh, this is kind of nice. We could only enter the obstructor if we popped, and if we pushed, we could go faster. I like that. That's nice. I'm happy about that. Actually, these are ordered wrong, I think. I mean, it would work correctly, but I think it's better to do it this way. Where if it's red, we fall through into the red zone and just go as fast as possible. It's not any better, because I have to put this down here. Alright, whatever, leave it alone. I guess also, is the gap between here and here, like, good enough? Is it large enough? It might not be. Because I'm requesting a new bit for 0. Ah, of course. I already up here did the shift, the push. So that everything is in the right place, except for the bit that belongs here. And when I request it, it immediately goes there. So we're all very happy. I could do this and it would be fine, except that then B would be not requesting. So, okay, great. So let's say this is, I don't know, 12 ticks, something like that. Maybe that's right. Let's see what happens. Let's only do this. By the way, what does an inactive output port even do? Semi-active. It's mentioned in the reference manual, but I don't have that handy. I guess I could go look, right? You guys can't read this, but because inactive input ports are useful. The funny thing is, we know on the first tick we actually will always want a bit, but having it be active would mess up our synchronization. Order of execution, glyphs. Output ports deactivated. Ah, right, yes. An inactive output port means that when you write to it, you don't advance the screen pointer, which is not relevant to us here. So we request a bit. We see, is it red? It is. So release everything here, allowing the push to happen, and then keep it released so that we can go through these conveyors without harm. And then go down. Yes, these are back in capturing mode. We read the bit that's going to go at the top of the stack, and we request a new input telling us what to do. Now this one is not red, so these will stay in state A, right? Yeah. This will go through here. We'll do a B, releasing all of these, and it gets popped, and we write the 8, exactly as desired. And then we wait a really long time, because if the bit had been down here, it would have a long way to go. We push a 3, and we're going to pop the 3 again, so that's not an interesting test case. Okay, yeah, the first several test cases are very boring. Wait a minute. 3 pushes and only 2 pops? That's illegal. What do you mean? Sorry, 3 pushes and 5 pops? Oh, I didn't finish reading. If the stack is empty, transmit a red hash. Oh no. How can I do that? Well, I have an idea. I don't love it. But like, it's hard to look inside one of these and say, hey, is there anything here? There's at least 2 ways I can think of that you could solve this problem. One, you could separately down here track the maximum, the current hash size, stack size, right? Every time you get a plus, you add 1 to a number. Every time you get a minus, you subtract 1. And if the result is negative, you transmit a red hash and set it back to 0. The other thing you could do would be detect whether the stack successfully emitted something. And if it failed, then emit something else. So like we could have a port here whose job is to like produce red hashes, basically, right? Here, something like that. We say make it equal to what? Hash is what? 144? 151. A programmable conveyor here that could send it to the output. With a recycler here. And a universal B sensor, I think. Oops, B sensor, like wired up to this? We could have them race, couldn't we? I was thinking, okay, we'll release something from here and set this conveyor. And then, after it's had time to get there, we'll release a bit from this port, and it'll either go here or here, depending. But then we'd have to reset this so that it's just like it's awkward. If we instead, like, we know how long it'll take from getting here and releasing this to getting here. So like before we hit this trigger, we could send a B signal here. The wiring on this seems complicated. But I think you could do it. Like, I'm imagining, let's make this a conveyor B, so it's actually only turned off for a single tick. If a bit gets here at the same time as one gets here, then we know we don't need this one to make it to the output and we can throw it away. And if a bit doesn't get here, then we do need this one, is the idea. So we're going to need two universal B sensors. One that goes this way to fire this off, and one that releases all of these guys. And this takes one tick to get, no, 2 ticks, 1, 2 to get where we're going. This one takes 3, so it has to be immediately before, which is fine. Like that. So we release a bit, we prepare a red hash, and then we say, okay, you guys go leave now. Wait, actually, it would be much simpler if we could just do both of these at the same time. It's not so easy to do that, though. I'm just gonna do this. 2 B signals, you know, whatever. And I guess for symmetry, we'll have the blue wires always deal with popping and the red wires always deal with pushing. So we release this bit, and it gets to here at the same time as we're releasing this bit. Then they're here and here, then they're here and here, which is exactly what I want. Okay, I mean, a little spooky. Let's see if it works. Errors 2? Oh no, I already made a bunch of mistakes? Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. It should be here is my first interesting bit. So we successfully reproduced the first 2 bits of the input. But now someone is saying pop something and the stack is empty. Hang on, why is there something here? Oh! We're not supposed... No. Oh, this is from the... No. This is... Is this from the previous tick? What's up with this 11? Oh yeah, we just haven't written this one out yet, maybe. Although I don't know why it's 11. Shouldn't it be 3? Oh, I didn't actually wire this up. That's what's wrong. The 8 and the 3 got added together. Okay. Now we've output the 8 and the 3 correctly. Great. And someone's asking us to pop something, but we can't. So we say, release the default bit. Actually, the fact that this default bit hasn't been output already is sort of proof that the system is working, maybe. Or at least halfway working. We release the default bit. We release the guard bit that would let something out if it were there. And there's no one to turn this off, so instead of recycling it, we produce it. And then we do a bunch of waiting. So is there ever, I mean, there's got to be a point here, like when we do our second plus, while there's already something in there. I know I could just like hit test all, but I want to look at the edge cases myself. So we've already got something, and now we say time to push something else. So the 5 proceeds and is captured in the next thing, and then we push a 9 and we're like good to go. Now we're popping the 9, which means this is the first time something. This could be okay. This 5 needs to get here, and I think that it will. We're not going to output this hash because the 9's going to catch it. 5 comes back here and is ready to go. So where do we have a bunch of pushes in a row? Right here looks pretty good. Pushed 5, 9. Oh. Take that breakpoint off, please. Errors. There were errors at first. Here. This was a mistake, huh? How could you? Well, okay, there were a bunch of pluses in a row not too long before that. Let's see what happened. Actually, let's stop a little earlier. Let's stop here and just see, is the stack actually empty at this time? It doesn't look empty. Oh, it's so impossible to know what could have happened to cause this. Now I wish there was someone maintaining the stack size. Oh, right here the stack looks pretty full, yeah? Because we have 2 pluses and then a bunch of balanced pushes and pops. So there should actually be 5 things on the stack when we get here, right? There's 4, and then we push again, and now there are 5. And then we pop 4 of them off. So after this, there's only 1 on the stack. Nothing, nothing, nothing. We push 4 more. There's back to 5 on the stack. Nothing, 0, 5. Well, I don't know. Let's put a breakpoint here. Have we already had a mistake by this point, or no? No. The stack is full now, though. I thought it should be empty. Or, not empty. I thought it should only have 5. Oh, we had 5 pluses in a row. Stack size should be 0, 1, 0, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it's down to 1, 2, 2, 5. Still 5. -4, now it's at size 1. Then we add 5 pluses, yes. The stack should be filling up as it is filling up right now at this time. So this is our first instance of a full stack, which is an important edge case that we maybe didn't handle correctly. And we haven't produced any errors yet. So we're now popping a full stack. Oh, no, that seems fine. So what actually happens when I pop it, though? What have I done wrong? What? Why did y'all... Oh, no, that's fine. Oh! I see an issue. The issue is this 4 and 5 are about to add together, right? Yeah. And they become 9 and everything is screwed. Because these two are, like, synced up. None of the others are synced up. Because they all have these matching conveyors. They go up at the same time and then go over, whereas this one goes up too soon. I think if I do this, the problem will be fixed. I don't know if that's the best solution, but it seems fine. So we're back to the situation of having a full stack, and we're now popping it. And there's just no chance any of them are gonna overlap. And this could be a bit faster. This was our longest possible pop, and we still have a tick or two left. So let's make this 10 and see how it does. Just in time. Yeah, 10 looks right, because we're now just ready to release this. If this had been a push. Since it's a pop, we have some time to spare. Alright, I mean, I'm reasonably satisfied now that if I hit this, it will produce no errors. Why do I have a breakpoint? What? Breakpoint's 0. Yeah. A bit of a monstrosity in terms of layout and arguably algorithm and everything, but if it works, it works. Not good on cycles, terrible on space, doing okay on icons. I mean, there must be some better way to do this. I didn't quite, I couldn't see it. I mean, yeah, you almost could not do worse on space. I used the whole area, minus 5 squares that I left empty. Oh dear. But, you know, if it works and it's stupid, then no. If it's stupid and it works, then it ain't stupid. That's what they say. If you say it in the other order, it doesn't really make sense. I imagine that took up like the whole hour, right? Yeah, that's been an hour. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.